Welcome to Leafs Quick Hits. I'm Chris.
And I'm Sil.
And welcome back to the NHL's regular season after almost a 2-week break. Anyway, it was about 2 weeks. And the grind of the NHL schedule gets going for the Leafs with 3 games and 4 nights right off the hop. A quick note, as we do this podcast on the Sunday night, the Leafs are now in first place after the big win versus the Blackhawks in the Atlantic with 72 points, 1 point ahead of the Florida Panthers, and the Leafs have a game in hand.
And right now, just out of curiosity, we looked at the Bet Online betting lines for the Leafs, and Leafs are plus 100 to win the Atlantic Division. The Panthers are at plus 140, so pretty close odds there. Another interesting thing is the Leafs are plus 550 to win the Eastern Conference. Another interesting tidbit that we noticed was that the Washington Capitals, who are currently in first place in the Eastern Conference with 84 points, and are 12 points ahead of the Leafs, who are in second place, are plus 600 to win the conference. So they're actually behind us. So I guess the betting lines don't really believe in the Caps that much. But anyway, it's pretty, looks like it's pretty sustainable. We're almost at March now. So anyway, so that's actually some pretty good money to lay down there.
Yeah. And I didn't notice, though, when looking on the website, I didn't notice anything about an Ovechkin betting line or anything for his. Should be interesting because he got the hat trick tonight. And it's going to be amazing if he's able to do that this year after missing so many games as well to break Gretzky's goal record. That's
I know. What I found even more interesting is that they played last night against the Pens, and there was 8 goals scored by the Capitals in that game, and he did not get one.
Yeah. Wow.
So that's sort of interesting.
Yeah.
Anyways, he made up for it tonight by scoring 3. So
yeah, that's for sure. So visit the website betonline.ag to bet on all your favorite sports. BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for online betting. Whether you're a seasoned fan or a first-time bettor, BetOnline is your ultimate game day companion.
With the largest selection of odds on everything from the NHL, NBA, and college basketball to UFC, BetOnline continues to be your number one sports betting source. From every three-pointer to hat trick, BetOnline has you covered with odds, stats, and more. BetOnline, the game starts here. Please gamble responsibly, though. If you or someone you know needs some support or advice, you can reach out to Connex Ontario or an organization near you.
And a reminder, we need you to hit that follow button wherever you listen to our show, Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio. I had a friend of mine say, I didn't know you were on iHeartRadio. I said, we're everywhere. I said to him, right? So any of your whatever favorite podcast app that you use, you'll find us there. And it's important to bring awareness to our show as a place for Leafs content, and you won't miss any news related to the Leafs.
You can also catch our show on YouTube as well. You can hit that subscribe button and you won't miss any of our shows. And we also have lots of video content from games we attend at Scotiabank Arena. We actually had a couple shorts on there from the game last night, on Saturday night, that were pretty popular. Anyway, we just added that content today, so please check it out.
Yeah. All right, let's get into the Leafs quick hits of the week. First, we're going to put a bow on the Four Nations. And the Four Nations tournament, it was a huge success for the NHL. The final game between Canada and the U.S. had 16.1 million viewers across North America. That's huge. The two most watched hockey games in North America in a decade.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's just speaks to what a huge lost opportunity this has been for the NHL.
Yes. Yeah. And I guess last year's Oilers Panthers Game 7 Cup final had 16.3 million viewers. So that was that was the most watched game, and then this was the second most watched game. So yeah. But yeah, what was your experience watching the game? I had mine. I told you a little bit about it. I didn't tell it. But,
so for me, it was stressful, so stressful. I just was pacing. It felt very much like watching the Leafs in the playoffs. Like it was just,
Yeah.
there's just so much riding on this game. Obviously, I don't think we have to talk anymore about, the political climate we're in right now and in all the other things that were wrapped up in this game. But anyway, it was super stressful, but also exhilarating as well. And it was a family affair, like watched it with my whole family, almost all. One of my boys was probably watching in his room, but he didn't watch with us. So, but yeah, it was exciting and yeah.
And I was maybe like your son, but I was sleeping. I went to bed. I actually didn't feel that bad doing it. I just could not watch it. Like you said, it was just, I watched part of the first period and then I just couldn't do it. I was stressed out.
Okay,
I said, okay.
I have to explain to viewers who, if you're new, Christine can't watch, especially can't watch overtimes. So even when it's with the Leafs, she normally shuts it off. I don't know how you do it.
Yeah.
Because I don't think I could do that. But anyway.
It's very odd, actually, because when I'm at the game, like if we're at a playoff game, I'm fine.
Yeah, it's not like you leave.
Exactly.
The overtime, you don't.
Like, I mean, I'm there. And
I don't know.
I don't know if it's because there's so many people there. Like,
no, or maybe you feel like you're more in control there somehow. You're not totally, when you're watching on TV, you're like, you don't feel like you can control the outcome. Like we cheer a lot when we're at the games. We're really into it. So maybe, deep down, we kind of feel like we can kind of, impact. Probably not. But at least we feel like that. I don't know.
Yeah. But then I didn't feel that bad because John Tavares went to bed as well. So
I know, but I do think that was a little bit lame, like he said that he had to get up because of the kids and all that, blah, blah. But I'm kind of like, come on, you have like teammates that are participating. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. But so that's how we spent it. And I'm sure a lot of fans out there, whatever, they had their own stories and how they watched the game. And all these Canada games, like the international games, it's always like a family affair anyways, I find with majority of fans.
Anyways, we talked about it leading into it, that we didn't think it was going to be that big a deal. Yeah. But it turned out to be a huge deal and just so much better than I could have ever imagined. So yeah, like it was must-see television for sure. And I'm super pumped for whatever comes next with the Olympics. I mean, I don't think the Olympics are going to be quite as intense because it's like different rules. I don't know what kind of ice surface they're going to have because I know it's in Italy. But I don't know what their rink dimensions are going to be like, if it's going to be international size or what's the deal there. Yeah. We'll deal with that when we come to it next year. But
what did you enjoy the most from the tournament?
What did I enjoy the most?
Besides Canada winning, let's just say.
Okay.
Because that's the easiest thing, right?
Well, so I it's so funny because I love him, but I hate him. I really enjoyed Marchand's shenanigans. Like he was like the team mascot kind of for this tournament. And he just had he's just such a good interview, which I think we all know. But on every single media outlet, like he was there. And anyways, he's a very interesting fella, let's just say.
Yeah.
So I found him very amusing.
Yes. Yeah. I like I got to give kudos to the crowd in Montreal. Like the fan
for sure. Yeah.
reaction, like in like that, it just seemed like it was above electric. They always say like going to, I was going to say the Forum, but it's the Bell Center. Going back in the day at the Forum, the Forum was even better, but the Bell Center in Montreal, like it just, it's like you wanted to be there. Like we missed out this time, but yeah, no, I was really impressed with that, and I love seeing that. I guess the fans get to embrace that game, even though in Montreal they lost that second game versus the US. But
yeah, but it was just like the outpouring of Canadian pride too was just incredible. I don't know, just really brought everybody together, which I think is amazing. So
yeah. And the performance of our Leafs, I think it was pretty good for all three. I mean, I think Willie was the, let's say, the quietest, I guess, out of the three. And I think Sweden was maybe expecting a little bit more from him.
I would agree with that.
Yeah, he got 2 assists in the 3 games that they played, and Matthews and Marner each got 3 points, right? So Matthews got the 3 assists, and Marner obviously got the goal and 2 assists. So I mean, I think they all did. Marner and Matthews, I think they really played well. Like they both played well, and considering Matthews apparently had that injury, or I don't know what they said it was, a neck injury. What I find funny now is with the injury that he has been dealing with the whole season, basically. So technically now you would think everybody, whoever's in that USA dressing room, knows what the injury is or should have an idea, depending on how, like, if something is bothering him, like lingering, that he just has to deal with. Like,
that's true. That's inside information now.
Yeah. Right. I mean, because he has to tell the trainers that sort of thing, like whatever it was that was bothering him. If there was maybe something, I heard it was something with his neck that he missed the game versus Finland. So was it Finland or Sweden? I think it was Finland. Yes, it was Finland. Yeah. So I heard it was his neck. So I mean, normally the back and the neck are connected, right? So if it was if you had the back injury initially, but anyways, I just found that interesting. The fact that now everybody does or should possibly know that what the issue is with him, but I don't know. He seems to be playing, even like coming back now to the games with the Leafs after the break here. He's looked really good. I like.
He has, but I still like when I watch him skate.
Yeah,
his positioning and kind of how he's bent over. Like it looks like mechanically he's not getting that much push off from his legs. Like he seems to be lumbering a little bit still to me when I watch him skate. Like especially when we were at the game on Saturday, when I was really watching him, and his skating still does not look like he's getting a lot of power to me. But anyways, like hopefully, they're going to load manage him a little bit. I mean, I think they could have maybe not played him tonight.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. But even Marner, like both of them. But yeah.
But you know what? I'm of two minds about that. I kind of feel like they could have sat out, and I would understand that. But do I appreciate and like that Berube said, you're going in?
Yeah.
I kind of feel like that's good too, because that tournament it was all about the NHL, but it's not about the Leafs. So, it's over, and they have a job to do. So, they're not old guys. So really they should be in shape, because if this was the playoffs, they would be playing, on whatever night they need to play.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's not.
Yeah. And we're paying them.
Absolutely.
So,
yeah. So, I mean, overall, I'm good with it. And I was pleasantly surprised, and they're looking fine. So, all of them.
All right. So,
but did they perform well? All of them? Yes. Were the roles that they had to play on their prospective teams? I mean, if I'm looking at one, I would say Matthews being the captain. I would have personally liked to see a little bit more, from a guy who's supposed to be the premier goal scorer,
Oh, but he got robbed though by Binnington in that final game. He was like it was like this much from the blocker. It
doesn't matter
shot.
though, Christine. Like elite.
I don't know.
Competition calls for elite performances, and Binnington out-elited him in those moments. Bottom line, like you
and
can't
the other
say that
one
that's
too,
not true.
He had no, it's not true. I mean, and normally, I guess, like you're saying, especially the one, like the blocker one, was a little bit difficult. I think somebody was checking him at the same time, but he managed to get it off. But the other one where he was in the slot and it was like going top corner there. Normally, if he was 100% healthy, he'd have that in the net. Like
Yeah.
that.
So, I mean,
That
then
would have gone in.
there is that. So, we're going to give him that.
Yeah.
But I mean, like you could say the same for McDavid. He
Right.
really didn't, like he had a pretty good tournament. But I mean, in that last game, for example, like he was handcuffed the whole time. And he said himself, he was so frustrated. And, had Marner not given him that beautiful pass, made that beautiful play, in that perfect spot, then, it's a different story. It's the same story for him. Right. So, but I guess that's just my point, is that being the captain, I'm not saying I
do think
the world. I expected a little bit more.
Yeah. I do think it's ridiculous, though. Somebody said, I think I was mentioning this to you last night. Somebody said that, do you think Matthews should be the captain of Team USA next year? Because he wasn't like as great, I guess, as maybe what they expected him to be this year, sort of thing. I think that's ridiculous, personally.
Well, the thing
next year he could be phenomenal and be on the 70 goals pace
100%.
again, right?
So it's like that's just ridiculous.
And I don't know. And I just think, I mean, personally, I don't think, like, because they say like the Tkachuk brothers are the heart and soul of
but
that team.
The captain doesn't necessarily need to be the heart and soul. They've got a different role, and they need to be level-headed. And guess what? The Tkachuk brothers, they ain't that. So,
no, I know. Yeah.
So, are they the heart and soul? They can be the heart and soul.
Like Brad Marchand said, right? It's just like, what was his line? I love that line where he said
sometimes you just need to know when to keep your mouth shut. Something, paraphrasing something like that.
Yeah. Or come back to bite you in the end. So, yeah. But anyhow, overall Canada won. So we're all good with that. And it's a great way for Team Canada and the other nations to at least have some sort of pre-Olympic kind of
like a taste of it
game, sort of thing, right? And to see what players match up together well, and for the goaltending, it's going to be interesting next year where that goes with because Binnington he loves TD Garden, that's for sure.
Well, and he's
too bad the Leafs
big game player. No kidding, eh? Well, one thing though that was of concern to me was, because I felt it as a fan myself, is that how do you then pivot from that energy to like the regular season ho-hum, but it's turned out pretty well so far. So let's look at the Leafs now, coming off of that break and what they've done so far. So they played Carolina Hurricanes Saturday, and it was a 6-3 win. So
they had the start was great. 4 goals in the first period. Like
it's almost like I have to say that the rest that the other players got, you could see that paid dividends. They were fired up. So I think maybe they fed off of some of that energy and they were ready to get back at it. And that showed.
Yeah. And it was great to see Alex Steeves get his first NHL goal too.
Yeah, he played really well and he was really noticeable. I found all game.
And I mean, it wasn't so great in the second and third periods.
No,
but I
think the adrenaline started to wear off.
Yeah, I can see, especially the third period. But even like, actually, it was funny. Mike Johnson said on the broadcast tonight, actually, during the Chicago game, because we're recording the podcast on the Sunday evening. But he said that I mentioned how the 6-on-5, how the Leafs are like when the opposing team has the goaltender out, how like we're not good in those situations. We need to practice that. Because the Canes definitely, I guess, used that to their advantage and scored, I think, a couple of goals. One of them was a 5-on-4. I think it was a 6-on-5. But I mean, we're last in the league. Mike Johnson said at 6-on-5 defending. We've given up 10 goals, most in the NHL.
Ugh.
Yeah,
that's not good.
So they definitely need to practice that. And the other thing, though, that I had no idea until I got home after the game last night. Matthews tied Daryl Sittler for second in goal scoring for the franchise with 389 goals now.
Mm-hmm.
So he's tied. He's second. So he'll pass Daryl Sittler with his next goal, and then it's going after Matt's record, 420.
It's probably going to get done next year.
Yeah. So
likely. Which I can't even. I did not ever. Like, I never saw that in our future as fans, seeing that happen so quickly. Like,
yeah, that's the thing. It's so quick.
Yeah.
I mean, he's only 27 years old. So it's like, yeah, it's truly amazing what he's doing. But the overall game itself, I mean, I thought Anthony Stolarz played well.
Yeah, he did.
Right. He made some huge saves. The goals that went in, there were a couple of them, I think, that were bounced off of bodies and stuff
kind
like
of,
that.
They were collapsing and sort of breakdowns at that point. But
overall, I thought he was good
in
net. And and then there was that line, right? The what was it? It was Camp, Steves, and Lawrence.
Yeah,
because David Kampf had a goal, and even Pontus Holmberg with 2 goals. Like, that's insane. Like that. Well, actually, it's not insane, because I think last time he came back I think he was a healthy scratch.
Yeah, he's another one that kind of when he's out and he comes back, he tends to perform really well. He doesn't kind of, I don't know, he's just like more fresh, I guess.
Yeah. Somehow. And it's definitely.
But I mean, it was just all about the depth scoring last game. So, and thankfully, I know it was an empty netter, and Matthews doesn't get many of those, but I just wanted him to get something, because he just seemed so sad and so down after that USA loss, that I just wanted him to turn the page on that. And what better way to do it than get a point, like get a goal for yourself. So,
yeah. And then, and so then he actually has a point streak going. Matthews too. He has a goal and 7 assists in 5 games after the game last night versus the Kings. And which he actually continued into the game tonight versus the Blackhawks. So he got another assist to extend his point streak now to 6 games. So that's fine if he wants to keep racking up the assists. Whatever. I mean, we do need his goal scoring, obviously, but however, as long as that'll come. I'm sure it's not far down the road. Yeah, he's contributing and he's playing a great 200-foot game. So it's
and I mean, that's the one thing that, like, that by all accounts, like, everybody to a man on both coaching staffs throughout this tournament said that they had no idea what a horse he is, defensively.
Yeah.
That, and you could tell because he was put out in all of those situations, so.
And how he really cares about that part of his game too. Like,
he does. And like, honestly, he's for sure going to be, if he's not a Selke nominee this year, then I don't know what the hell people are doing and what the criteria are, because, it's pretty incredible what he's doing in that part of his game for sure.
Yeah. And I was actually shocked, though, that the last time we won in Chicago was February 2003. 22 years ago.
I know. When we were there, we lost. Remember?
I know that. Yeah, we don't have too much. Our road record isn't that great.
No, not that good.
Although the one game in Vegas,
that was pretty memorable.
That was the ultimate, right?
Yeah.
But that's the one we'll never forget. But 22 years, though. That's insane. And but it was all about the depth scoring again. Tonight.
Nick Robertson getting 2. Beauties, actually. And that one setup from Domi was like incredible on the second one.
Yeah. So that was the line. It was Domi, Robertson, and McMahon. That's who was going tonight for us. And the defense. Wow.
Yeah, two from the D, which is great.
Yeah. McCabe
even your one. Boy, Tanev.
Macedonian Warrior.
Yes.
Yeah. Chris Tanev, he even got one. It was just, I thought Holmberg got it actually, but then he said, but he didn't touch it. I guess it kind of bounced in, but
and I thought Wall played really well. It was a good road game. I mean, it started a little slow and it kind of got me a little bit worried there at the beginning. Because they didn't look that great in the first period. It was kind of like the flip side of yesterday's game in a way, that way. But they sort of kind of got rolling a little bit. as the game went on. And
lots of Leaf fans there too. They were showing on the TV. It was
I didn't think when I was looking at the crowd, I actually said to my family, I said, it doesn't look like there's that many. I said, they're all tapped out from spending money on going to watch the Four Nations, so no one can afford to go now. But I don't know. There were some, like there's spatterings of blue, but I didn't see that many.
Yeah. But still, Leafs Nation, you always see them somewhere there.
For sure.
Right. So that was great.
Regardless of what market, there's always going to be Leaf fans.
Yeah.
So even that lived there for sure.
That's why we're loved so much.
Yeah.
But going just to point out for Pontus Holmberg, because who knows when we'll be able to celebrate him in any way. 17 games, he had no goals. And then the last 2 games, he has 3 goals. So he had like the 2 goals last night and he had a goal tonight. So,
well, I think Berube even talked a little bit about it, about how he and Willie seem to have a little bit of chemistry. So I think that he may keep them together for a bit. And I guess part of the reason that the lineup is the way it is because Pacioretty is out as well. So I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. Things are going to be shook up a little bit, but I guess all these guys also are making a case for themselves to not be moved out. So, this is where you got to put your money where your mouth is in the next week and a half or so, right? So,
that's for sure.
That could be a little bit of that happening too.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're going to go back to the Four Nations tournament now, where one of our Leaf players, I'm sure quite a few people know who that one player is, but he made a huge impact for his team, and he's our star of the week.
Yes, our star of the week for this Leafs Quick Hits episode is Mitch Marner. Mitch's overtime winner versus Sweden really is the reason that Team Canada, well, one of them, got to the final game. He also had 2 very important primary assists in the final game, one on Sam Bennett's game-tying goal, and of course, the assist on McDavid's OT goal to give Canada the tournament victory. Marner proved to us that not only does he show up in big game moments, but he showed team character by accepting whatever role John Cooper gave him. He started on the top line with McDavid and Reinhart, but then was moved down the lineup to play with Cirelli and Hagel, and he made those moments count. So anyway, no doubt this experience will give Marner and the Leafs a huge boost as the team gets into playoff mode. For his role in giving all of us Canadians a thrill we haven't felt in such a long time, he is deserving of our star of the week.
Yes. And I have to say, I wish the Leafs would have done a bit more for him after at the game yesterday.
All they did was put that graphic up. Welcome back, our Four Nations participants.
I thought that was ridiculous.
No, and it was, again, it's a lost opportunity to get the crowd involved. You don't think that if they would have pointed out, like singled him out more, like the whole place would have erupted into Go Canada and cheering and
show that winner, the McDavid's winner, with him passing it. Like, it's just like, it's a huge missed opportunity. I don't know what they're thinking. Like, I know Matthews.
They don't want to make the other guys feel bad, but I mean, I'm sorry, that's sports.
But and this is Canada. We're in Canada. So it's
for sure.
I'm sure those 2, Matthews and Nylander, would understand, obviously, right? Like, they're playing for a Canadian team.
Do you honestly think that if the tables were turned and, Austin Matthews played for an American team and he was suiting up for his team and there happened to be Canadian players on that team who participated, they wouldn't make a big deal? Absolutely, they would. 100%.
No, it was not right. I think they should have done more to acknowledge.
No, because it was a big deal.
Yeah, because it was a big deal. And that pass that Marner did for the game tying goal with Sam Bennett, how he drew the 2 American defenders into him. And that was like, I did watch the whole game on Friday. So I saw that afterwards, right? But yeah, no, that was amazing. He played amazing. And one thing I wish he would have done though for Marner, like when he came back to Toronto and the reporters were asking about the tournament and all his thoughts and everything, he needs to loosen up a little bit. He became the the straight-faced Mitch Marner, but we know he's not
Mhm.
like that because all the teammates say that he's like the fun-loving guy, and he likes to, like, he's just more loose sort of thing. So, but I don't know. But I mean, it wasn't a huge deal. But I would have liked to seen him be a bit more
One thing
happy.
that I because I was listening to Leaf Talk on the way home, and one thing that they were saying is that, because we didn't see this obviously because we were at the game, is that on the broadcast, the panel asked him on the Hockey Night in Canada panel, they asked him about the goal, and they said that the way he broke it down for them, was incredible to listen to. So I guess it just depends on what kind of element he's in. So maybe when he's being asked in these ways, he's been so conditioned, but that was a different type of question that he doesn't normally get asked. And he was just amazing in his response. So I actually meant to find that clip if I can, or in the highlights or in the replay, to see if I can, see what he said, because he broke every little nuance down. And it was really cool to listen to, apparently. So, yeah.
Well, the experience should definitely help all three players.
I think so. I think it should help the team. Like I can see that it did do something. And the other thing that I was kind of noticing when we were watching the game live is that I kind of feel that it is going to help the players that did participate, because how could it not? When you spent a week practicing and playing with the best players in the league, it's not just like an all-star game where you're thrown together for some, stupid game. This is actually playing and, having different coaches and different ideas, different perspectives. I just think it's really, really going to be good for all of them.
And bring that back to the team here.
So,
and to their own. And we got 3 guys that all went through it. So I just I'm hoping for Matthews that the fact that he was on the wrong end, that kind of galvanizes him even more to
think so.
say that.
I think he's a little bit pissed off.
Yeah, like to get to that next level in the playoffs with the Leafs. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know, the losing part, and he's been there, done that. So now he just has to do the winning part.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, now we're going to be coming into the home stretch, so it'll be interesting what happens in the next couple weeks, because the trade deadline is coming up in March 7th, and some players could be returning from injury sooner than later, which will make GM Brad Treliving's job much more interesting as to what he'll do. So we know that Calle Yarncroft's been skating with the team. Connor Dewar is close to returning. Max Pacioretty tweaked something, but he's probably like day to day. He's not expected to be out too long. And of course, there's also Yanni Hakanpää. Not sure what's happening with him. If he'll be back or what. Yeah, but anyway, the next 2 weeks will be quite telling.
Well, yeah, because all those players, we won't consider Hakanpää in that, but all those players those 3 players anyways, are going to be wanting a roster spot. Right. And or needing a roster spot, especially Yarncroft is a big one there, is if he's ready to go. I mean, they don't have room when it comes to the salary cap.
No.
And
they can't even, he hasn't played. So they can't even really trade him right now.
No.
So.
And that's why they were saying maybe with Alex Steves that it might have been a showcase possibility with him.
Really?
Too. Yeah. I heard that. And as part of a package of something with something else, obviously, not just him. But,
well, I mean, we don't have too many first round picks to be throwing around. So
Kyle Dubas got rid of everything that all of our draft cupboard basically is quite empty right now. We only have next year's pick, and I don't think they, Treliving, from all accounts, they don't want to be trading that but unless it's something. But I don't know. I'm kind of hoping that they go all in if they have to trade that first round pick, or if they have to trade Easton Cowan. Because, I mean, I don't know I think they only have 2 or 3 more years maybe with this group by the sounds of it.
Well, and you also kind of have to look at, when Easton Cowan is ready, what is he going to contribute in the long run?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it has to do a lot with the ages of guys and where they slot in, what we're going to have left when they're finally, in their prime and all of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But there's really only going to be the only person that will be playing with him are like, Nyes, assuming they sign him, and Willie will still be here for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
No, everything else is up in the air.
Yeah. Yeah. But
right.
That's why, I don't know. That's why, I mean, it has to be something substantial, obviously, if they were going to do that, to actually get us over the top for a long playoff run. Because I don't know. I just don't think bringing in pieces around the edges, I don't think we're not that. We need something, well, especially at center. That's the big thing, the center iceman. But we'll get into that as we get closer to the deadline day.
Yes, I'm sure we'll be talking a lot more about that next week.
Yeah.
In our next show.
Yep. And and we're definitely waiting to see what Brad Treliving will do leading up to that March 7th deadline day. In the meantime, the team has a lot of games to play. This week, it's a week of original 6 matchups with the game versus the Hawks that we just played tonight. And then on Tuesday night, the Leafs visit TD Garden. We're back there again in Boston.
Well, I hope that gets, Austin a little bit worked up. You know,
and
something to prove there.
Yeah, and then on Friday night, they play the Rangers at Madison Square Garden. And the Rangers are, I mean, they haven't had a great season at all. Lots of turmoil there.
Things have been looking up for them. And so, and JT Miller, when he went there, he's actually had a pretty big impact. So then the Leafs have a rare Saturday night off and instead visit the Pittsburgh Penguins for an afternoon game on Sunday. Note the start time is 1 p.m. It's the early game. So for U.S. television, no doubt.
Yeah.
And then they return home and play the San Jose Sharks on Monday night. So another back-to-back, as if we didn't have enough of them already. And we had 2 already in like the first week and a half.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I don't know. It's just, I mean, we have the most. We've talked about it a few times now, or one of the teams with the most between us and Carolina. I think actually is the other team that has quite a few. But chance for teams to see possibly the Calder Trophy winner, Macklin Celebrini on the Sharks. So that'll be good, and get to see Sidney Crosby. I mean, they've not. Penguins, I don't know. Kyle Dubas has quite the job cut out for him there. But
talk about deflating for Sid, though. Jeez,
to go back to that. Yeah.
He might be changing his mind and saying, "Maybe you could trade me. I think I'd be okay with it now."
I think I like playing with Nathan McKinnon, with my Nova Scotia buddy. But it's going to be a busy couple of weeks, and the only way to keep up with all the Leafs news is to hit that subscribe or follow button wherever you're listening to our show, Apple, Spotify, if you're watching on YouTube, or wherever you're listening to us. You can also listen to the show on the Believe Network at Believe.com. It's BLEAV. And with the NHL trade deadline coming up, if there is any big trade related news happening like during the week, for the Leafs before the deadline, we will definitely have a bonus episode. So not to worry about that. And don't forget, we love hearing from our listeners. If you are listening on Spotify, please, I beg of you, answer our poll question for a quick and easy way to give us your feedback on the show. Or leave us a comment. We love the comments. We got quite a few comments on YouTube from our YouTube subscribers. So that's great. Great to hear from them. And or on social media, you can leave us a comment. Our handle is at LTL1917.
And a reminder, you can also check out our Ko-fi page at Ko-fi.com. Again, our handle there is LTL1917. And while visiting our Ko-fi page, please consider supporting our show by buying us a coffee. Any donation goes towards helping us produce the show and making it even better for you. You can find the link to our Ko-fi page on our show notes or in any of our social media profile pages.
And thank you to our healthcare workers and first responders for all that they do.
And we thank you, as always, for listening and watching Ladies Talking Leafs presented by Bet Online. Till next time, go Leafs, go.
Do you believe?